Welcome to Four Downs, right here with Marcus Lynam. I'm joined by this week with Marco Ventimiglia. We're here to talk about 4 downs, 4 topics, UConn football. So Marco, after week 1, 30-10 loss at Michigan, we come home for the season home opener, Texas Southern, a 1-2A team, and we kill them. 62-3 the final.
To say the least.
To say the least. To say the least, we put a good shellacking on them. We took all our frustration out on the loss and took it out on them. So my first topic that we want to talk about is, the offense, even though they did score 62 points, the first teamers only played one half. And then, they still, Zach Frazier only threw 9 passes. Mm-hmm. How do you think the offense is clicking now? In week 1 against Michigan, we were off. The timing was off. Right. The receivers couldn't catch. Mm-hmm. Offensive line was off. Running backs were off. What do you see the offense from week 1 to week 2 and even looking forward?
Yeah, you pretty much said it. The timing was off, everything like that. They just seem to be more in sync week 2. Even though we played a lesser opponent, we still saw a lot of better passes from Zach Frazier. The receivers making more plays downfield. Mm-hmm. They dropped 8 passes against Michigan. They still didn't play great against Texas Southern, but they showed improvement. Mm-hmm. And they were open a lot of the games, and Zach Frazier was able to hit them. And Jordan Todman, he also had a good game as well.
He did. Jordan Todman, 2 games in a row now, he's gone over 100 yards.
Yes.
And, Zach Frazier looked better this game than he did in his first game, yet he only threw 9 passes.
Yes, I agree.
Topic number 2, talking about the passing game, our receivers. Like you said, we had 8 drops at Michigan, and the other day against, Texas Southern, we still were having drop passes, even against a lesser opponent. Mike Smith, he's made some great catches so far this year. He's the leading receiver on the team, but he also has had some key drops. And Isaiah Moore, Kashif Moore, even Dwayne Difton, all had key drops. What do you think the receivers need to do to get it going, and what one receiver do you think needs to be the step up and be the go-to guy like Marcus Teasley was for UConn last year?
Yeah, we're definitely missing Marcus Teasley. He was a great receiver for us last year. They just need to be more consistent. They got to make the plays on a more consistent basis. Third downs, a lot of drop passes. We need to make those third down conversions because we want to get our punt team off the field, keep the offense on the field, let Todman do his thing first and second down, get a short yardage play for our receivers to make a short catch or even go downfield. We did see Frazier go downfield a lot, especially versus Texas Southern. And I remember a couple of drop passes, but there was also a couple of plays where the receivers had no one within 10 yards of them. And I can remember Kashif Moore catching the end zone. Yep. Yeah, there was nobody around him. And Zach Frazier put it right where it needed to be. He made the play. That's what we want to see. Exactly. We need to see more of that. And for the one receiver that needs to step up, I'm going to go Dwayne Difton because he was the highest recruit in UConn history 2 years ago with his 4 stars. Yeah, we haven't had one of those, and he needs to start playing like it. And granted, he's only a sophomore. You can't expect much out of him as a freshman, but this is his breakout year. He needs to have a big year this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He came in here with a lot of hype, and we have yet to really see him live up to the potential. Last year, he had a total of 8 catches. Didn't really play down the stretch, and this year so far, he has 1. Right. So, look for him to step up, and the rest of the receivers need to step up as well. But, let's look forward now to down number 3. We go to Temple this week, big game. Usually you think Temple Owls, you don't get too scared. But if UConn fans remember 2 years ago, it took Donald Brown over 250 yards in the rain to beat them in overtime.
That's right.
All right? And last year, Temple made it to a bowl game. This year, majority of the starters returning. They're a good team, solid team, great running back. How do you think our team will fare this week playing a pretty good opponent on the road?
I think Texas Southern was perfectly scheduled for week 2. We went into Michigan. We had national exposure. We wanted to win. We didn't. It still kills me a little bit. But then we come back home, and we kicked the crap out of the team. And we just embarrassed Texas Southern. We scored on our first 7 drives of the game, and that's exactly what we needed. We needed to have that game where we rebuild our confidence. But remember why people were talking about us before the season started. Now, going into Temple, not a great program, but they do play at Lincoln Financial Field. That's a big venue. But if you play at Michigan, you can play it anywhere else pretty much. But I just feel that coming home, playing that game against Texas Southern was exactly what we needed because now, once we go on the road to a better program like Temple, we'll be able to be more confident and make plays, hopefully as good as we did against Texas Southern.
Okay, all right, yeah. Temple, they look like a good team. They could give us a run for our money, but if our offense can keep, improving, our receivers can make catches, and if our defense can play like they did against Texas Southern, allowing just 3 points.
Get better every game.
Then I don't think anyone could beat us if we only allow 3 points. But, speaking of the defense, this defensive captain, Scott Luchers, our middle linebacker, he's out this past game. Yeah. They're saying it's a upper extremity injury. But, last year he had 2 stingers. This year that's what they're thinking he has again. He missed most of the second half against Michigan, didn't play at all last week. His status for this week and moving forward is unknown. If he isn't unable to play, he is the heart and soul of that defense. What one player needs to step up in his absence?
Obviously, when Scott Luttress isn't playing, that's a blow to the team. Your defensive captain, last year he was questionable a lot of games. This year he might be questionable. We don't know. But let's just assume he doesn't play. I'm saying the D-line needs to step up. Because against Michigan, it could have just been Denard Robinson who just hit a hole every other play. But we need to fill those gaps as the D-line. We need to shut them down on the line of scrimmage. Tavardo Williams, Jesse Joseph, they all need to make the plays. And allow our backup linebacker to come in, or whoever the linebacking core is, to come up, fill those holes, and make the play.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think our defensive line, they're a little undersized compared to most teams, but they do have speed. That's the one thing they do have.
Yes.
And if they're able to use that speed to their advantage and fill those holes, and allow our linebackers who, we still have a pretty good linebacking core with Greg Lloyd and Lawrence Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
2 all Big East contenders right there. And even the backup, Joy Johnson, had an interception against Texas Southern, looked great. So if he's able to produce, that gives our young secondary, which is people always talked about as our weak spot this year, gives them a chance to play well and play up to their strength kind of thing. But I think it all starts on the line of scrimmage, offensive and defensively. But if our defensive line can step up, I think we'll be all right.
I don't think we need to worry about our offensive line.
Our offensive line, with those massive guys, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that is 4 downs for this week. For Marco Ventimiglia, I am Marcus Lynam. I'll see you next time.